Hello and welcome. Today I want to show you what the subject you have to understand before to start to study a CCNA. There is some subject or some point is very important for you to understand before to do the CCNA class or any part from Cisco certification. Before to start, you have to understand number one, what the meaning interface. What the meaning interface. We have two interface we deal with in CCNA. Number one is they call Ethernet. Okay, in Ethernet we have two or three type. We have Ethernet, very old one, 10 meg, and we have fast Ethernet, which is 100 meg. Usually we use in our practice. Then the new technology is not really new technology. I mean, this is the recent technology is a gigabyte Ethernet, which is 1000 megabit or megabit, bandwidth. Okay, so we have 1000 megabit, 100 megabit, and 10 megabits. Okay, we deal usually or all our time with the fast Ethernet, most of our practice. Okay, another interface what is a very important for us as well is they call serial. In CCNA you have to understand what the meaning serial and what the job for serial. Serial we have bandwidth, so many different bandwidth, but in our practice we use 1 million. It is another 2 bit, which is equal 1 meg. Okay, this is the speed for this cable or for this interface. And there is a big concept and very important concept they call DTE and DCE. DTE and DCE. Okay, we need to discuss about this point because this point is very important for us. Number two, let me just listed our subject first, then after that I give you information for each point. Number one is the interface. Number two is they call a line. We have a three type as well. We have a console. We have VTU or VTY, sorry, it is they call it Telnet. And we have another one, it is AUX. Okay, AUX. This is the line. And number three, we have something they call port. Example for port, it is switch. Okay. So this is our deal. Before to start to talking about CCNA, you have to identify and you have to know what those meaning, what the meaning interface, what the meaning line, what the meaning port. Okay, things we can see all those things from the very important software they call a packet tracer. This software from Cisco Academic, packet tracer here, and this software is a Cisco recommended to do all your practice and all your lab on it. Why? Because it's really interesting for you as a CCNA. This one will be die in CCNP. You cannot use in CCNP. Okay, you have to use another software. Which software is they call GNS3? That one. So I try to give you the information for both software. I give you time to install and to deal with this software. But you have to understand packet tracers is not really enough for you. You have to think about GNS3, another software. You like really devices, you can borrow some devices or buy some devices and you can do practice, no problem. Okay, but I recommend it for you, even Cisco recommended for you to follow the simulation method, simulation way. Okay, two simulation, packet tracers and GNS3. GNS3 is an open source. I give you the idea for this software later on, and packet tracers is from Cisco system. Only those. We have another choice, we have another type. Yes, we have another one is a really interesting for I believe it is for CCIE, usually used for CCIE. This one is they call you can use the VMware to run this software. This software, this is the name, they call IOUCCIE pod. This one for CCIE, this image you can run in VMware and you can use it. Okay, this one is a provide to you a specific topology for the CCIE exam. Okay, maybe later on you can copy and you can deal with. Okay, now we go back to our main software. It is Packet Tracer. How can to deal with this software? Then after that, how to understand those points first. Remember, this is just introduction. Okay, now this software is very easy. You can install, just keep next. It's no big deal when you install. Now, how can to use this software? I just go to one click here. I see a lot of type for router here. It's a different type here. I go to the switch. I can see as well different type for switch. Okay, then I go for hub. I can see 2 or 3 devices represent hub. Then I go to the access point as well here. Then I go to the computer. I can see some computer, server, printer, phone, and I can see one emulation, all those things. This is a type for cabling. This is the type for cable. Before to start, I will show you which router we will deal with. First of all, I go to the router. I will all my practice use router 1841, that one. This one, I use it. Can I use another one? I mean, can I use more than one router? Yes. This one, another router here. So I need to connect between them. Let me bring a switch. So when I click here, I can drag and drop a switch. You can see here. Drag and drop a switch as well. Another switch. Which switch we deal with in CCNA? We have 2 types for a switch. We have a switch 2950, which is layer 2 switch. You can write it down some notes. Layer 2 switch. So we have another layer switch. Yes, we have a multi-layer switch, which is that one. You can see this is they call multi-layer switch. In the previously time, we have a layer 3 switch, but right now it is most of the Cisco product is support, or they produce the multi-layer switch. We will see what the difference between multi-layer switch and layer 2 switch. CCNA X, or new materials for CCNA, it is more focused about multi-layer switch. A lot of subject in new related to the multi-layer switch. Okay, so this is multi-layer switch 1. I can make 2 as well, no problem here. Just a drag and drop. I just need to show you how can to use that software. So computer, I can select, this is computer here, one, another computer here. I can use laptop as well. I can use server as well. I can use even phone. You can use as well even phone or IP phone. Okay, so can I connect it between them? Can I connect it each other? Yes, I go to cabling here. You can see this cable here. Okay, I have 2 types for cable, as you know, with the basic knowledge. They call straight through and crossover. Straight through and crossover. Which one, or this type or 2 cable from where? From UTP. You saw the UTP cable before, right? There is a 2 type. They call crossover and straight through. Good. Nowadays, or the technology for multi-layer switch now is just a plug and play. Wherever you have any cable, straight through, crossover. But I just need to give you the basic concept for this cable. Now, if I have same device need to connect together, like router to router or switch to switch, I just use a crossover. That one. So when I click here, I can select which interface, fast Ethernet, and I go here. Okay. So switch to switch, same device, yes, same switch to switch, so I just use crossover. You see now which port I need to put it, whatever, any port right now, I just need to show you here. Okay, I need to connect router to switch, same device those, or different router switch, different device. So I use what? Straight through. I can use it here. So this is the first concept. Just put it in your mind. What? Any same device use a crossover, any different device use straight through. Okay, this is the first concept idea. Okay, but just now we mentioned, I go back to this text later on, but I mentioned just now serial interface. Can I use serial interface in this router to another router here connection? So I can use serial here. You can see this serial here. Okay, I have DCE and DTE, same our concept just now, DTE and DCE. Okay, which one I use? I use usually DCE. One click, I go to router here, there is no serial. Why? Because by default, any router, they have only fast Ethernet. You have to order the serial and you put it inside. So what I do, I just press skip. Then I go to router here, double click. Then I just, you see here, PCMCI, this is a slot. You can put it here, serial interface. So now where is the serial interface? A lot of interface here I have, okay? Which one? Usually in our course, we will deal with the WAC2T. WAC2T mean WIC mean wide area network, I interface, C card. 2 terminal, which is mean 2 serial. You can see here 2 serial. So drag and drop, I put it here. So they say, please cannot, you have to turn off your router. So how? Just go here and turn it off from here. One click, you see green color, there is turning off right now. Very smart device, huh? So I just put it here, the slot, then after that I turn it on. Okay, so I go to another router, turn it on, then I go to WAC2T, then I put it the serial over there, then I turn it on. Right now I can use serial cable. DCE, then I just put it the DCE serial 00 with another serial, for example, with another serial here. Okay, so this is how can to use it or how can to deal with this software. We will do all our practice in this software. Another software is GNS3, and another one, if you need to continue us with the CCNP and CCIE, they call IOU. Okay, we go back here with our subject. First of all, interface. What the meaning interface? You see in my router here, I have a lot of interface. Zoom in. I have a lot of interfaces. I have this one with the yellow label. I have this one with the blue label, with the black label, and I have this one serial. How can to understand which port is important for me and which port is not very important for me? First of all, you have to understand they call interface. Which one? Fast Ethernet and serial. Okay, both of them you can see here. If I can zoom in, this zoom in. This fast Ethernet here, you can put it IP address. I can put it in fast Ethernet. I can put it IP address plus subnet. Okay, and the plus, very important comment, they call no shutdown. What the meaning no shutdown? Because all the interface inside the router by default shutdown. Doesn't work. Why? Security purpose. No need, or maybe anyone put it the cable and can connect it directly. So by default is shutdown. You have to issue software command, which is they call no shutdown, to turn it on. Good. So I can put it in Ethernet IP address, subnet, and no shutdown. Okay. Okay. Okay, another thing I can put in my interface, I can do routing, I can do quality of service, I can do all my configure inside the interface. So the interface like Ethernet or fast Ethernet is very important for us. Okay, how about serial? Can I put it IP address? Yes, can put it as well, IP address and subnet, of course. And also I can put it no shutdown. Okay, no shutdown. What the difference between fast Ethernet, because we will deal with the fast Ethernet or with the Ethernet technology, and serial? What the difference? If there is the same, you can put it IP, you can put it subnet, you can put no shutdown. What the difference between them? Okay, the name for the fast Ethernet or the Ethernet technology, always the name they call what? LAN, local area network. Why? Because the bandwidth for local area network can go for very, very high. You can see 1000 megabit per second is a really very, very speed. Okay, and they call LAN local area network because most of the bandwidth by default in LAN local area network, okay, it is fixed. You can see plug and play. You have 100 fast Ethernet in your computer, put it inside the switch and work. Do you need to put it some bandwidth, command, anything? No, it's just put it the cable in a switch, then you can access to internet. This is they call LAN. Okay, but how about serial? Serial is different. They call one wide area network. They call wide area network. Okay, what the idea for serial? I just need to understand what the difference for serial and Ethernet. Okay, first of all, serial, it is connected between a switch to switch only. Serial connected between router to router only. Okay, but Ethernet can connect it between router to router and connect it between router to switch. Okay, why the serial connected between router to router only, and why they call one technology wide area network? Because you can play with the bandwidth in wide area network. In serial cable, you can play with the bandwidth. This is really very important when you do the one or wide area network. Let me give you some idea here, or let me draw something for you just to understand this concept here. If I have router here, for example, need in Malaysia here, then another router, for example, in US. Okay, there is a very long distance. Okay, no cable can use it. Maybe you ask me, okay, can I use VSAT, fiber optics? Yes, fiber optics is VSAT is not stably. Fiber optics is good, but fiber optics is not your job. Should be go to the ISP, because the government controller, right? So I go to the ISP. This one, my ISP here in Malaysia, and this is another ISP in US. Of course, between them, they have a fiber optics between them, right? They have fiber optics between them here. They have a fiber optics between them here. Okay, so now I ask my ISP, please, I need to connect to the US. They say yes. Okay, I will give you cable here. Okay, and this cable may be phone, maybe fiber optics, maybe whatever, any cable. Okay, and it will be, you put it inside some device here, some device. This device they call channel service unit, data service unit. This device they call data service unit and channel service unit. Okay, this device, it is convert between any cable to any cable as well, or to any cable. So it means now maybe here fiber optics cable, here fiber optics in this part, for example, this part. So it will be changed to what? To serial. Here serial cable. Here I have serial cable. Okay, or serial interface. Good. Now the question, this cable, is it plug and play? I mean, this one serial, remember, this one serial. Okay, the question here, this serial is a plug and play? I just put it? No, you have to select the bandwidth. You have to select the bandwidth. Also another side, you have to select the bandwidth. Good. But who is to select the bandwidth? The ISP or you? Of course, the ISP, Internet Service Provider. The ISP should be select the bandwidth for your cable. But how? Because the cable included two parts. Part they call DCE and part they call DTE. DCE mean data controller equipment and DTE mean data terminal equipment. Okay, so in this case here, this cable here, or this part from cable they call DTE. This one DTE. Okay, and the cable inside the ESP they call what? DCE. Mean this one is DCE. This one the controller. It will be select how many bit per second in this cable. Okay, so that's why when I connection here between two router just now, I have to select DCE or DTE. DCE and DTE. So the concept for serial cable, we have two type, DCE and DTE. Always the DCE is controller. You can select the bandwidth for the cable, but the DTE just terminal, just follow the server. We will see in the configuration as well. So the big difference between serial and Ethernet, you can see this one wide area network, I can play with the bandwidth, and LAN I cannot really play with the bandwidth, and the LAN is very speed and one is really less speed and less bandwidth as well. Okay, where is the Ethernet? Where is the serial? Okay, by default, Cisco, they give you built-in 2 interface fast Ethernet with the yellow color, with the yellow label, and they don't give you any serial by default. Mean when you buy any serial Cisco router, there is no any serial, only 2 fast Ethernet built in. You have to order, you have to pay extra to put it the serial interface, that one. Okay, so means all our practice we will use fast Ethernet and we will use the serial. Good. How about another interface, or they call line here? Number 1, we have console. Where is the console? Inside our router, the console with the blue label. You can see this one, blue label. This is they call console cable. What the job for the console? Console can use only for configure. When I finish my configure my router, I kick the cable and I don't use the cable anymore. Just for configure. Means maybe ask me now, can I connect router to router is use console cable? Cannot. Okay, console, it is used to configure your router. This is your router, for example. This is your computer here. Okay, so you just use console cable to configure your router. Console cable, here they call console port, like RG45, and here is serial, is they call D9. What the meaning D9? It is exactly like letter D and 9 pin inside, serial port. Just put it inside your computer, then after that you can go session inside the router. Which software? They call hyperterminal. Hyperterminal software help you to configure the router through the console. I have a new Cisco router. Which way to configure my new Cisco router? You have only one way, console. Console, you put the cable through the console. Can you show me in my example here? Yes, this is my computer. I go to select serial cable. The blue color one here is always come with a new Cisco router here. So I just put it here. I go to RS232. This is exactly D9 serial port. One click, then after that I go to computer, then I put it to console. Good. I go inside my computer, double click, I go to desktop, I go to the very important software they call hyperterminal. In Windows 7 above, there is no hyperterminal. You have to download from internet. Okay, so hyperterminal, you have to select the bandwidth for this cable, because this cable doesn't work if you don't select the bandwidth. So the normal bandwidth or default bandwidth 9600 bit per second in this cable. Okay, only Cisco system use console? No, a lot of devices use console. Like you can see the TV, the video, sometimes you see behind, you can see console cable. So the console cable, the default bandwidth, it is 9600 bit per second. So I just say okay. You see now I go inside the router, then I can configure the router. Okay, this is the first way to configure our router. Okay, do I need to put it IP here, any configure? No, later on we need to put it only 2 things: password to make a secure or to make protection. If anyone use this cable, should be use that password. Okay, second thing, what they call login or login. What the meaning login? I open database to check that password or to do verification for this password. We will see in the configuration as well. Another type or another way to configure our router, they call VTY, Telnet. Telnet is also for config our router, okay, config our router here, but through what, or use it what? IP address. Use IP address. Telnet should have IP address. That's why it is not really can configure your new router or your new Cisco router through the Telnet at the first time. Impossible. Why? Because you don't have IP just in your router, right? Just to open from box right now. So you cannot use the Telnet only if you have IP address. Okay, another type to configure our router is AUX. This is how can to configure our router through modem. What I mean, for example, this is my router here, connect to the internet, and they have public IP. Then I have a problem, so I can use the AUX cable here, and use that IP to ask my friend to configure the router remotely through AUX. Mean this one, my friend, he will use the internet, then after that use AUX cable and configure my router. Where is the AUX inside the router? This one is a built-in as well. They call black color one is AUX. But nowadays, not really very important part, because most of the people can access your router through the internet, can use Telnet. But remember, Telnet is not secure. Why? Anyone capture can see your configure through the internet, I mean. Okay, so which one is rather to use Telnet? You have to use another protocol they call SSH, secure shell. SSH protocol, we will talking about SSH as well, maybe at the end of our class. So this is mean the way to configure our router, line the configure or way to configure our router. Okay, what I need to put it here to all, I need to put it password, okay, plus login, okay. What the meaning login? I open a small database to check the password for anybody access. Okay, now last thing or the last part before to start, it is they call a switch or they call port. If you hear port, this is just port or just like inner, same the interface look like, but there is no accept IP, no accept subnetting. It's just like port. What I mean, example, the switch. You see the switch, double click, I have a lot of port. You can see here a lot of port, look like exactly same the fast Ethernet. Maybe you say, this one fast Ethernet. No, this one they call what? They call a switch, or they call just port. The port here is a layer 2. They not accept IP, is not smart, just like extension. Just like you have a one box for electric, so you just put it extension, then you have a lot of box or you have a lot of plug for electrics, exactly same. So we will see as well how can to deal with the switch with the two chapter they call VLAN and STP and all those things. Okay, so now all those information is like introduction before to start to talking about Cisco configure. Now just overall I understand what the meaning Ethernet is they call LAN, and the bandwidth is not really controller, and the plug and the play, and very high speed. Serial always used between router to router, and also use, and most of the time is used for one wide area network. Why? Because the bandwidth can controller. Example, give me example. ISP, when you connection with your router, it is use what? Use the controller for this cable. How? Because we have two concepts they call DTE and DCE, data control equipment and data terminal equipment. DCE always the owner for this cable, DCE side always the owner for this cable. Also both of them use IP and IP address and subnet mask and also no shutdown. Remember when I say IP mean IPv4 and IPv6, both of them support. Line, it is three type for line. We have a console, AUX and VTY. All those way to configure your router. Finish the configure, don't touch those port because it's just for configure. Okay, what we need to put it inside the line, inside the VTY console AUX, I need to put a password and login. Okay, finally is a port they call a switch. Example for port is switch layer 2. He not understand anything about IP or subnet mask. This is basic information you have to know before to deal with the CCNA, or you have to understand before to deal with any Cisco certification or any Cisco router or switch. Thank you so much for your watching. See you later.